Hey everybody, what's going on? Today we're going to continue reading On the Run, and we're going to be reading chapters 7 and 8. Starting this new thing where I'm going to review 2 to 3 chapters at once because this thing is really long and some of the chapters are really short. So this is going to make it easier for the both of us. So without further ado, let's get started. The sun was shining brightly outside their bedroom window. Lucy was sleeping soundly, her head lying on Natsu's muscular chest, his arms tightly wrapped around her. Suddenly, Lucy began to stir awake. This only caused Natsu to tighten his hold on her. His arms were like a vice grip. Lucy needed to get up and wash up. Natsu, wake up, she whined. I don't want to get out of this bed. Can't we just stay here forever? He grumbled. His grip on her was loosening. Natsu, I know, trust me, I don't want to leave either. But we have to do this, not only for our friends, but also for us, she sighed. Natsu sighed in defeat. Just as she was about to get up from the bed, he lunged at her and pinned her on the back. He figured that they both needed to have a little fun before all hell broke loose. Lucy seemed to need this as well. She happily sighed when he kissed his mark on her neck. That's because they are mated now, and when he mates, Lucy gets a mark on his neck. Okay. It was a long morning for them couple. That's very southern of you. After showering and having breakfast, my bad, they towards the guild. Lucy had a light breakfast, not really being able to stomach anything. This whole ordeal was making her nauseous. Natsu was running the plan by Happy and Lucy. Neither of them really wanted to see their guild members. Right now, yes, they were family, but right now they weren't themselves, and they were bracing themselves for the worst. Once they reached the guild doors, they heard what sounded like a party. Natsu raised his eyebrow, not knowing what to think about that. Then again, he had to brace himself for anything. Before pushing the doors open, he looked over to Lucy one more time, quickly pulling her to him and planted a heated kiss on her lips. Whatever happens in there, just know that I love you, Natsu whispered. I love you too, Natsu, she whispered back. I didn't actually whisper there, but imagine I did. All three took deep breaths, and Natsu finally pushed the doors open. Once inside, the guild members stopped the party, and they all stared at the two. There was a dead silence. I don't think you say a dead silence. I think you just say there was dead silence. But okay. Or she could have just said once inside, the guild members stopped the party, and they all stared at the two in silence. Just seemed very wordy there, not necessary. Makarov was silently observing from the second floor. The silence was finally broken when Lisanna came running to Natsu. Natsu, you finally found that bitch. Finally, we can have justice for what she did to me, she cheerfully stated. She wrapped her arms around him only for him to step out of her Carolina furniture grasp. I don't know why this adds here, and I don't care. Natsu, that is how you treat your girlfriend? Urza glared at him, discovered the secret behind online security 50% off? I don't want to know the secret. I don't care. Natsu stared at her quizzically. He figured that she spun more lies. For the last time, Lisanna and I are not together. We will never be, he yelled. He was about to snap. Lisanna just glared daggers at her. I think she means like she was glaring daggers at Natsu. She raised her hand and quickly dropped it. While he was being distracted, he felt the nose Mira in her Satan soul lunging for Lucy. By the time he turned around, she was pinned against the wall. Mira had her claws wrapped around her neck and she was squeezing hard. As he was about to run to Lucy's aid, Elfman was holding him back. Natsu was struggling to break free, his eyes wide when he saw Urza walking towards Lucy. She pulled out her sword and pressed it against her neck. Sana came up to him and brushed her finger along his cheek. Natsu, why her? Why don't you love me? After everything I did for you, she purred. Natsu struggled to break free. He was beyond furious. Lisanna, I am fed up with the sick and twisted fantasy you concocted in your demented mind. That does not sound like something Natsu would say. That sounds way too smart for him. I never loved you, and after what you did, I will never forgive you. You make me sick, Natsu snarled. Sana was taken aback by his words and his tone. Her face contorted and she smirked evilly. Kill her, Lucy yelled. Lucy! Lucy, he roared. Sorry about that. He'll be damned if he loses her now. Natsu wasn't raised. He burst into flames and he set Lucy on fire, knowing that she is now immune to his fire. This allowed Mir to loosen her grip, and both she and Urza had to step back. Loki suddenly appeared. Natsu ran to Lucy, making sure she was okay as the other guild members prepared to attack. Natsu created a wall of fire, giving them enough time to escape. Loki brought them to the spirit world. Once they were given the proper clothing to be able to survive in the world, Loki brought them to meet with the other spirits and the Spirit King. Upon their arrival, they were surprised to see Sabretooth members Yukino, Sting, and Rogue. Why were they in the spirit world? Did they get summoned about this? I actually need to know. I forgot. Yukino quickly ran to Lucy and hugged her. Lucy, are you okay? Yukino was worried. Sting? Rogue? Yukino? What are you guys doing here? Natsu couldn't help but be suspicious. Natsu-san, we heard what happened from Libra and we came to offer our assistance. Sting answered. How does she know about this? Did Loki tell her? Natsu, we are sorry for what you and your mate are going through, Rogue added. Very natural. Like they're in for us for consoling Happy. Did that really need to be a single sentence? And I think I'm pretty sure that person spelled consoling wrong. I decided to have all 12 Zodiac spirits assist with the situation, so I requested Yukino's presence as well. Her friends wouldn't let her come alone. The Spirit King intervened. The reunion was cut short when they heard a shriek. Lucy! Yukino yelled. Lucy had collapsed and was unconscious. Where the fuck was I? I lost my place for a second. Natsu quickly ran to her side and trying to coax her to wake up. Virgo intervened and inspected her. Virgo picked up something strange. Natsu-san, how long has Lucy been feeling like this? Virgo inquired. What? Feeling like what? What's wrong with Lucy? Natsu was frantic. Answer me! Has she been feeling tired all of a sudden? Nauseous? Virgo was getting annoyed. Yeah, but that's because of all the stress she's been going through. Natsu had no idea what Virgo was getting at. Natsu-san, Lucy-sama is pregnant, Virgo stated. All three Dragon Slayers and Yukino's jaws dropped. What about the celestial spirits? Are they not surprised? Did they all know what happened up here? Okay, now we're on to chapter 8. Makarov saw everything that went down in the guild. He saw how Lisanna behaved when seeing Natsu, Lucy, and Happy walking through the guild. He saw how everyone's mood shifted. He saw how Mira attacked Lucy and how Elfman detained the helpless Natsu. He saw how Lisanna tried to break them both. Or kill them. It was more like kill them. Or kill Lucy and break Natsu. That's what it felt like to me, but Once they escaped, everyone reverted back to their usual selves, completely not remembering the events that transpired just moments ago. He was utterly disgusted. On the upside, I lost my place again. On the upside, he was able to get more information on the potion Lisanna used on his brats. The behavioral, that's probably like an English way of spelling it, pattern gave him helpful clues. He noted everything down and gave his notes to Panther Lily. Lily and Makarov exchanged knowing looks before the XE flew away. Makarov made sure no one saw him. He was playing the fool. He needed to be the inside man in this operation. Otherwise, he would never get his kids back. Makarov reflected on what had happened to the once sweet and innocent Lisanna. Before her death, she was cheerful and loving. When it came to a certain Dragon Slayer, though, things were always a bit strange. She would come off as needy at times. When they were kids, he overheard her asking Natsu if he would search for her if she ever disappeared. Who asks that? Lisanna always wanted a family. Sure, the one she had was amazing, but she missed her parents. She vowed to herself that she would become a mum. She would make sure her family would be happy. When Natsu came into the guild that day with Happy's egg, something snapped inside and automatically saw Natsu as her provider and Happy as her baby. Okay. Natsu never knew what to say to her. He would blush, of course, only because he felt embarrassed and didn't know how to turn her down. That was a problem many had at the time at the guild. It was always difficult to turn her down for everything. She always had a way of getting what she wanted. Most of the times, she was the youngest member at the time, and she was still seen as the baby of the bunch. Makarov had a hunch that something happened to her in Edelus. Otherwise, he believed she wouldn't have become what she was now. He had no idea that her time there only fueled her obsession. Lisanna experienced quite the culture shock when she woke up in Edelus. Once she found the guild, she was surprised to learn that her counterpart had died. Had died. The members were ecstatic to see that their Lisanna was back. She liked him more there. The members were more doting. She noticed how the members were quite the opposite of Earthline counterparts. When she met the Edelus Natsu, her heart stopped. She fell even more madly in love with him. She was charmed by his personality. He was much sweeter, smarter, and she found his shyness adorable. When she learned of his relationship with Lucy Ashley, she was crushed. Oh boy, imagine what this Lisanna would be like when she saw the recent chapters of Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest. Ugh, man, she would have been devastated. Poor kid. She grew jealous and inwardly hated her for stealing what was hers. She would get sick to her stomach when she would she would catch them instantly holding hands under the table. One night when leaving the guild, she saw them making out in his car. He looked so dominating by the way she was kissing Lucy. For a moment, she imagined that it was her being kissed like that by him. Her heart shattered when she was brought back to reality. All at that moment, she vowed that if she ever got back to her real home, Natsu would be hers. O- Okay, so we're good. I'm kind of confused. I thought this was like, is this like Makarov thinking about all this, like guessing? It's weird. Um, but it's nice. But it's a good backstory, I guess, and it makes sense. Nothing terrible, but it's good. It's good. When she returned to her real home, she was ecstatic to be reunited with her real family. She was relieved to be back with Natsu. When she learned of Lucy and how everyone loved her, she couldn't help but take a dislike to her. She was supposed to be the star of fairy tale, not Lucy. She always held up the friendly facade, though. She didn't really think much of the blonde bombshell. From what she gathered, Natsu was still single, and Lucy never really expressed any interest in him. According to her, he was free game. Boy, was she wrong. When he finally mustered up the courage to turn her down at the Grand Magic Games to add insult to injury, she was mortified. Add insult to injury to what? She didn't compete. I don't get that. She was publicly humiliated and embarrassed. She couldn't believe he did that. How could he be so thoughtless? When she noticed the tender moment between him and Lucy, she vowed revenge. She was supposed to be the one with the fairy tale ending. You spelled fairy tale wrong. Um, she was supposed to be the princess, and he was supposed to be her knight in shining armor. In her mind, she was the burned lover in this mess. She blamed Lucy for this. She made herself believe that Lucy was the one who tricked Natsu into loving her, that Lucy had used some sort of spell on the guild. Lisanna would make up anything in her head to convince herself what she was doing was for the good of the guild. Man, this would make a great, like, the story would make a great, what's it called? Oh, God, there's this show, Scorned. It's called Scorned. It was on Dateline ID. It's a great show about like love triangles or love squares like this. It's a good. It was a really entertaining show. Only one season's on like Hulu for some reason. I don't know why, but it's a good show, and this kind of reminds me of a story I'd hear in it. Uh, anyway, in her head, Lucy she had to rescue him and the guild from Lucy's treachery. Makarov had no idea what went on in her mind or what went on in Edlis. Well, we all just got the answer, and there could be like a separation for this, so like we can tell that this is like all just kind of explaining, and Makarov's like thinking, man, I wonder what happened. He believed that she was blinded by love. He thought to himself, though, did she really love Natsu? Did she know what love meant? He believed that she didn't. Otherwise, she would want him to be happy with the one he chose. She would have learned to move on and meet the true love of her life. If she knew about love, she wouldn't have done this to the guild. He still debated on whether involving the Magic Council. I think you mean whether to involve the Magic Council. He couldn't forgive her actions, but that didn't mean he should try he shouldn't try to rescue her from her madness. Once locked up in his office, he left the secret passage, heading to the forest. No one even knew he was at the guild that day. On his way to the medicine woman's home, he finally decided on consulting with the council. So that was Fairy Tale on the Run chapters 7 and 8. And next time we will be going over chapter 9 and 10. So if you like this, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. And if you have any requests for fan fictions like that are like one shots and not too long, feel free to put them in the comments section because I'd actually really be interested in getting some new fan fiction ideas to read on here. But if you want to recommend a fan fiction, be sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. And remember to stay beautiful because I most certainly am not going to do that for you. See you next time.